or the insurgency in the north. Some people who have said we have killed thousands of people, you are rehabilitating them. But you have Nnamdi Kanu in prison. How many people did he kill? What did he do?
Until this year, I had not seen northern Nigeria be part of any conversation for change in Nigeria. So I welcome you to the table and I thank you for coming in. But there is something that I must say to bring this to a close. You have a duty, and that duty is to ensure that you provide leadership to the people you have awakened. A lot of people have worked consciously and deliberately to awaken northern Nigerian streets, and we are very happy to see you come out. If you recall, about 5 years ago, I said specifically, I said the Nigerian revolution will start in northern Nigeria.
So guys, you're welcome back to this channel. There is this powerful speech from Dele Farotimi Ene Obi. Like, this is really a wake-up call for all. They talked about the state of the nation. They talked about the state of the nation, like, the recent happenings that is, happening in Nigeria, the recent happenings in Nigeria now. What is exactly going on in Nigeria now. They talked about it, especially the end bad governance that was just concluded, and that end bad governance that witnessed last month. And they talked about these whole things. According to Dele Farotimi, he said that why Nigerian government will not listen to Nigerians is because they did not regard Nigerians as a citizen, and that and that it is the truth that they don't regard Nigerians as a citizen, and that's the truth. They don't regard Nigerians as a citizens. Now tell me, after this end bad governance protest that just concluded, what the Nigerian government has done to to the plea of the people that protested, concerning the demands of the Nigerians or those who protested. And before the protest, you guys saw how they were working to impress Nigerians. They even got to an extent where they were assuring rights and all that. They even said that they were going to, even the House of Representatives, they said that they were going to slash their salaries for 6 months for this hardship. And but can you imagine now? Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about that. Even the salary that they said they are going to snatch, they've not even, that means that was a mere talk, a cheap talk, for people to, calm their nerves. But nobody is talking about that now. But in Nigeria today, we all know that what we are talking about now is this tribal bigotry, forgetting that Nigerians are hungry, and the hardship has gotten to another level. And I love what this Ene Obi said in this video. But I'm going to play the video for you to see what she said. She said a whole lot of things concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because the level of selective justice in Nigeria is really getting out of hand. Is getting out of hand, especially towards Igbos. Thing is really getting out of hand. So guys, let me allow you guys to listen to them. But before then, please, if you are new to this channel, please do well to subscribe, like, and also drop a comment below. Make sure you watch this video bit by bit so you get what they are saying and you understand what these guys are really trying to explain in this video. I'll see you guys in my next video.
Dele, it's a great pleasure to see you. A great pleasure indeed. And I have come here today to honor the media for their role, for their patriotism. Because throughout what was happening, it's not that the media was giving some money or whatever, but whatever was happening, the media, they were truly there, and they reported what they saw on the ground. So I want to congratulate and appreciate each and every one of you as you are performing your patriotic roles. And I'm really happy to see the very distinguished personalities here present and those who are also online. when you are talking of the legal issues, I think sometimes when you are in your own comfort zone and you are hearing voices of other people, and the reason why I appreciate Dele so much is that sometimes I'm thinking maybe I'm going crazy. You know, am I in the same country? Am I really in a place where I should even be asking for challenges? This is the first time in our history, and where I tried to do some research to see whether people confine people who want to protest into an environment. And I couldn't find anywhere. It's the first time in the country that you now tell us you want to protest. And you ask us to go to the stadium in Abuja. And in Lagos, you also try to confine people. I think for us, it was is this a joke? And on that first day, unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to go, to the field because I was with the media. And I just say these are the most quiet human beings or the most obedient Nigerians that I'm having. And they are going to the assembly, they are actually going to the National Stadium. I'm just going to talk about Lagos. And they went to the National Stadium. And there, the government people, the pro-government people were mobilized. About 15 vehicles were mobilized. You have asked them to go to the stadium, and you have mobilized against them also in the stadium. Look at the kind of insanity of our leaders, mobilizing Nigerians against Nigerians. Young Nigerians dividing and rule. At the end of the day, that day, some of them were fighting that they asked them, they were going to give them 5,000. They are now giving them 3,000. They were busy fighting. But when people decided to go to the Eagle Square, they went to the Eagle Square. One of the things we were also told is that, the police said you should not go to the 3-armed zone. In all of our protests in this country, at least in Abuja, we go to the National Assembly. You go to the Eagle Square. You go to wherever you want to go and protest. And for us, when you ask several questions, you were talking about, what is going to come? Did it happen? Or what is going to happen after? The warning we have been given is that the things that will come in front, the government will not be able to stand it. If this protest did not happen, other protests will come. And was there a mobilization for this protest? Ladies and gentlemen, I was in the protest. I was not mobilized. Hunger has no language. Poverty has no language, whether you are in the north or in the south. And I will come back to the fact that you said there was protest in some parts in the south, or maybe southeast, and no protest in the southeast. You are talking about it. Let us look at the unity of this country. There was an issue of the militants in the south. President Yar'Adua then sorted it out by talking to them, organizing them, and rehabilitating and giving so many scholarships. It came to we had the bandits or the insurgency in the north. Some people who have said we have killed thousands of people, you are rehabilitating them. But you have Nnamdi Kanu in prison. How many people did he kill? What did he do? If you lead the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you are a leader, have you called the people in the southeast? When we went for election, I led the civil society organizations to election in Anambra State, and then, going to the 2023 general elections. When we got to Anambra State, there was so much going on. We asked the security agencies, why don't you engage the people you are talking of IPOB? It's not that these people are not known to you. Talk to them. I can tell you that Anambra election became one of the most peaceful at the end of the day, but we were traumatized by several things. What we are saying here is, who are you? Now, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, who knows how to protest. You see, the journey leading us to the protest itself. You started by mobilizing religious leaders. Bringing every religious leader to Abuja, bringing, traditional rulers to Abuja to appease to them. And some young people came out and said, nobody can protest in Abuja. Nobody can protest anywhere. We have demystified that. The language of conga. If the president can get up one day, he even forgot his speech on the inauguration day. He came up and said, subsidy is gone. What is a subsidy? We have 4 refineries that are not working. And then you take our crude outside and bring it back, and the poor had to pay for it. So when you tell me that subsidy is gone, I do not understand what you are talking about. My first work was as an assistant general secretary at the Nigerian Labour Congress. So I know all the issues about subsidy. So we have an NNPC without a refinery, a working refinery. Every year they have been putting a budget for the refineries in Nigeria, in the 4 refineries. You know, when you are producing, when you are refining oil, the byproducts for petrochemical industries, there is so many. We have the youth bulge. I always say that population is a blessing. It's not a curse. If you have population, in other climes, they are lacking population. But here we have thousands of young graduates, energy for industries, and the industries are not there. You take our money out and then you bring back. So how can you tell me, if you are buying the crude 100 and you take it out and then you purchase it again, buying the refined product 500, and you ask me to pay for it? The kind of irresponsibility and insanity we have is a test case. But they didn't know that the protest will eventually happen. Let me tell you, I was at the protest, but nobody gave me a call to go and protest. I'm a woman in this country. I go to the market. Because of that singular act of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of saying subsidy is gone. One day we went to bed when the fuel was 165, and we woke up and it was 617. And Nigerians went to bed. I can't believe it, because I have lived through protests. I lived through the structural adjustment programs, and we saw what the government, the level of insanity and primitive accumulation of wealth is unforgivable. We have almost a wastage of the political class. Not everybody is a waste, but many of us, many Nigerians. And the reason why I went out, even went to go and sit at the National Assembly, or National Stadium, was because they were tear-gassing students, tear-gassing young people who have come out to, they have even obeyed you enough to go there. Nobody is obeying anything, because Eagle Square belongs to us. Anywhere we want to go, we'll be able to go. Answer the language, bring down the fuel price. You don't need to organize any meeting with anybody. Don't call me to any meeting. You didn't call any one of us to a meeting when you increase the price of fuel. So don't call anybody, act. And the very person, and he also mobilized something that happened uniquely. The words of opposition were quelled because they have placarded. If you show your face, they say you are the one. Are you afraid? Who are you afraid of? My junior colleague here said, I cannot sleep in my house. I will sleep in my house if you like. Even in the military, during the military, we were protesting. I was part of the team that called an extraordinary session of the African Commission on Human Rights for the Abacha regime. We went to the country, we went and we came back. We went to Kampala for that meeting and we came back into the country. And they allowed us into the country. They allowed negotiations. So what are we talking about? The political class. I want to speak one more thing, that the cost of governance that we talk about. How can you have 400 people accompanying you on international journeys? And you have, in each of these countries, you have the High Commission. So why are you taking those things around? And I spent some time in Tanzania. One of the things that President Magufuli, of blessed memory now, did was he wanted to travel. They had about 30 people in the entourage for him. He said, for what? Why are you giving me all these people to travel with me? He said, no. Give me 3 people. What of our embassy over there? 3 people. They took the money and turned Muhimbili Hospital. Use that money. He said, you have the money, bring the money. And he used it for the hospital. Now you have our president taking entourage. At this time, he bought a plane, an Airbus, and a car for 1 billion. If I drive a limo to my village now, I'm the one with poverty in my head. The level of insanity needs to come down. Don't talk to us. Act and we will understand. Thank you.
When you ask if the protest agenda is or was realistic, I guess it would depend on exactly how you approach the question or you look at the subject. I have believed for a long time that protests are a waste of time in Nigeria. And I believe this to be the case, not necessarily because I disagree with the legitimacy of the grievances that have led to these protests, but because I believe very strongly that there is a misunderstanding of the issues. I believe that the Nigerian victim continues to make the error of assumption. There is this fallacious assumption by the Nigerian that he or she is a citizen. There is also this further fallacy of assumption that presumes that Nigeria is a democracy. It is even now further compounded by the assumption that we are governed either by politicians or by persons who derive their legitimacy from our sovereign will. All these errors have conspired to lead to this situation where Nigerians believe that there is a listening government to whom they are protesting. But the evidences of our highs and the summation of our intellectual capacities should tell us that all these are lies and delusions that we have fed ourselves over the years. You cannot be a citizen in a space that is ungoverned by law, where the law does not rule. You cannot have a democracy. Where the law does not rule, you cannot have a government strictly so called. Nigeria is ruled by the administration of impunity. So when the Nigerian gets up and imagines himself a citizen, contrary to every evidence supplied by his senses, you have to know that ab initio, the deal could not possibly have been realistic because it proceeded from multiple wrong presumptions. If the Shia are considered citizens, nobody would turn guns on them and kill them the way they are killed routinely. If Nigerians, now I'm being more general because nobody asked the religious or ethnic affiliations of those who were killed at Lekki toll gate, if they were deemed citizens, persons protected and entitled to the protection of the law, nobody would have dared to kill them because the officers would have been acting under the law and they would have had to render an account under the law.